for your birthday?
Well, I will, but I don't know what I gotta think of something. This will give me plenty of time to think of something. We've got two people on the Tic Tac. We've got I don't know how many people marking trucking down under down on. We're live on YouTube and we're live on TikTok. Today we're going to be talking about marketing your business, uh, specifically your lawn care company. This will work with other companies, pressure washing, whatever you got to do. So I figured I would go live on the TikTok and let me move this around here. So yeah, there we go. Go live on the TikTok and get some questions on there maybe, and then we get questions on the YouTube, and see what's happening. See what's happening here, and maybe help some people out for. I don't know what this stuff means. Live spotlight. I don't know what that is. I don't know what it is. Find a quiet place, Randy. I don't get it. Whatever. So weird.
Anyway. So, Danny, tomorrow is your birthday, and how many people are on YouTube?
As of right now, we've got 3. We've got Trucking. Well, I think we still got Trucking. We got Tony Newbern says hi. Bowman's in the house. C-Van in the house. 6. We're starting to grow. It's starting to get out there. Starting to get out there.
Well, for everybody joining, tomorrow is Danny's birthday. Go ahead and wish him happy birthday now in case you don't meet up.
How can I market my green screen lawn care business? Well, that should be the easiest way to market.
And here's the thing, guys. I offered Danny a huge birthday present, and he declined.
He did not say huge. He said, act like it's somebody without a job. And I said, well, I don't know. I don't have a.
Dude, I offered
you. Give me a money like if you don't say, okay, you got a $10 limit. Well, I don't know what to get.
I offered you the Island Boys greatest hits, and you declined it. Who's going to decline the Island Boys greatest hits?
Get out of here. We're live on TikTok plus YouTube. Y'all can come check us out on YouTube or here. It's the same Lanier Lawn Care. We are talking about marketing your lawn care business for the first year in business, second year, third year. It don't matter. It don't matter. It don't matter.
I'm a marketing boy.
Good morning, Robert. With my swisher so he can sharpen the blades. Oh, geez.
Does he really live right by you?
He lives about 40 minutes away.
Oh, that's too far to sharpen blades.
Yeah.
Hook them onto your trailer.
It's not.
Hook them onto your trailer hitch. Drive down the road.
How you doing, Kyle?
They'll scuff out.
Kyle on the TikTok. All right. Let's get in.
You know you want the LP, dude. Just let me buy it.
We'll come up to Randy's tomorrow. We're gonna go live from Randy's house.
Choo. I ain't got no room.
Get Randy to go anywhere, so I can get Randy to go. It's Will, by the way. What's up, Will? See, now I know who that is. Now I know who that is. All right, let's talk. First year in business. There's several ways. Let's talk about what has worked for me, you, people in the room. I want to talk real time numbers. Let's talk about what is going to what people can expect off of certain things. Can you expect better off of one than the other? I hear a lot of people say, get a website. For me personally, a website has not been all that great. It has got me business, but not nearly even close to the business that I've gained from other things. Let's start with Facebook. So you got Facebook groups. Because, if you post on Marketplace, there's always somebody that'll post you as spam and knock you off of there because you're promoting a business. Facebook Marketplace, I consider the swap and shop groups. Like, go to swap and shop groups around your area and check the rules, or ask the admins, after checking the rules, maybe they don't list anything. Well, you'll find out real quick. Post something in there with a picture, talking about what your company does, what your prices start out as, whatever. Go from there. Put your phone number on there, your website if you got it, Google business page, whatever. And that is one way that you will reach thousands of people that you will never reach to boots on the ground. I did boots on the ground and put out 10,000 door hangers in 2 years. And I'm going to tell you, I got phone calls. I never gained one damn person.
Zero.
Never gained anybody. So door hangers for me did not work. And I'm talking different areas. I was an hour north and 40 minutes north. And I did my whole area. We spent days putting out door hangers and never had any luck off of door hangers. Now, there's some people that you may have great success off of it. Me personally, it wasn't worth my time.
As far as Facebook goes, I've got two on that. So a lot of the places won't allow you to list your services. And this especially works for home next door, because next door it's really hard to post your services on there without getting a paid ad. So
Right.
Every time somebody posts looking for this service, respond to that, because every time someone searches lawn care, that lawn care is still showing up in comments and bringing your name to the top again. So even if it's a week out and they've already had their lawn serviced, still comment on it, because when people search lawn care,
Bumps it back up. Yeah.
that comment down there shows that you're one of the people on the list. You may have missed out first on that job. And that's the same thing with Facebook Marketplace. If someone's looking for lawn care,
let's be honest. We're in the middle of the C word as well. So how well is it going to go over you dropping things off at people's door?
Right.
Everybody's in the scare right now. So, most people, I guess. Google Business, probably the best thing you can do that's free. Like that would, if I was to start a business, that's the first thing I'm going to do. Like, forget everything else. Google My Business is going to be the first thing I set up.
Yeah, if we're starting off with free options, Google Business is
It's the best.
Number one starting spot is Google Business, I believe.
The thing about Google Business is you set it up and a lot of people forget about it, and you shouldn't forget about it. You should keep it updated.
That's your new Instagram. That's your new Facebook page.
Yeah. So whenever you start that Google Business, if you have a Facebook page where it says website out, you could actually post or paste your Facebook page in that, and it will take them to your Facebook. And then if they want to get in touch with you, that's another way for them to look at some work you've done, get some more reviews. There's Google Business is huge. Like, that's got to be the number one thing.
Yeah, I ask a lot of people where they got my information from. And
What's up, Chris?
Google Business and Facebook is where they come from. And not on Facebook, when they say that they got my information from Facebook, it hasn't been from my Facebook page. It's been from my posts on other people's posts, like looking for lawn care.
Right.
And it shows up underneath there, just because the search term lawn care and the community you're in, it doesn't just show up nationwide. It shows up local.
Google's huge. And a lot of people recommend, hey, you go give me a good review and I'll give you a good review. And I really don't recommend that because you're in a totally different area than I'm in. So if I'm getting reviews from different states, that's throwing Google's thing completely, off. Look at that. Look who just popped up.
Yeah, for Smithville, for my area, and Blake even services. No, he doesn't come over here, but Blake is he's probably 8 down on the list on my area, and I'm above him for Smithville. So that's cool. That's cool.
What's Blake, if you don't care to answer, what's the number one thing that's worked for you business wise? Like getting marketing, getting clients. Has it been your website, or has it been, do you get more off Google Business, word of mouth? What's been the biggest thing? We're talking about, starting out. What was the biggest thing that got you there? Google My Business? Yeah, Google My Business is huge. Like, I mean, that's the first thing I would recommend anybody doing, because it's totally free. Totally free. You can't beat free. And
I was actually afraid to put Google Business on. I was afraid to put myself on Google Business because I didn't know if I was ready to start or not. But there's a possibility, depending on where you're at, the amount of companies that are out there. Once you put your business on Google Business, hold on, because
yeah,
you just started your business, and calls will come in.
I mean, let's be honest. If you go to, like, if I went to my phone right now, I mean, everybody's using their phone. I mean, it's lawn care near me or whatever. The first thing they're looking at is literally the business. They're looking at Google Business first. That's the first thing that comes up. They're not scrolling past that. They're seeing reviews. They're seeing, they automatically get everything, a snapshot of a business from there, right from the beginning. And the closer you are to the top, the better off you are. Blake's B&B Lawn Care says, don't forget to update it and add photos. So, he must have joined before I said that. That's keeping that updated is huge.
Treat it like your new Instagram.
And, it's so easy to, hey, would you mind giving me a review? Asking your clients at the end of the season or whatever, during the middle of the season, whatever it may be, get them reviews. It's critical to how high it raises you on the list and stuff as well. Answering the phone is a huge one as well. Answering the deadgum phone is a huge one.
Is that something that you
I don't know how many times somebody will call and I'll call them back. Maybe they leave a message, maybe they don't. I will still call the number back. And, you're the first person that's called me back. Really? Like, it just amazes me how many times I get a job because I answered the phone or called somebody back within 5 minutes of them calling.
Yes, quick and prompt phone calls will land you a job 85% or more of the time. Is that a Stang?
It is. It's the wife's. It's the wife's.
It's a 6-cylinder. I don't know if you could call it a Mustang or not.
It is not a 6-cylinder.
It's baby blue. I don't know if you can call it a Mustang or not.
It's grabber blue. What else we got? Okay, so if somebody calls you, this is the biggest thing I want to know. If somebody calls you and says, hey, what's your process? Are you going to tell them what your process start out is? Or are you going to say, oh, I need to come check out your lawn, and because it varies from lawn to lawn? And
well, we've got pretty average, I wouldn't say average homes. All of our homes averaged are pretty much the same. So you know what yards are going to look at when they say, hey, I'm in this villa and I need my yard mowed. You pretty much got a good idea. Yeah, 45 minutes, I can be there in a half hour if you need me to knock that out. You got the job. You got the job because they're calling to get their yard mowed.
Mm-hmm.
And if they haven't called anybody else, they might call someone else, and they're going to give them. They're either going to call Johnny, which is going to be $25, and they're going to take them, question it, or call you back. You know. And,
Yeah, I believe in giving them a starting price anyway, and then hey, our prices start at $40, a week. If you'd like for me to, give me your address, and I'll be more than happy to come look at your property and give you an actual price. But this is what we start out as, and I mean, I firmly believe in letting somebody know, because I think if you don't throw a price out there, they just, whatever, and they just call somebody else, because there's other people that's going to give them a starting price. Like, if you know what your prices start at, why not give a thing? Ask 3 questions: address, corner, is it a corner house, and does it have a fence? While they answer, I'll look it up to see the square footage. Boom, here's your price on the phone.
And those are the 3 determining factors of.
That is. When's the last time you mowed? Seems to be one.
Yeah, I always do ask that. They said, I need my yard mowed. Not then you 3 or 4 weeks.
Where's Chad at when we do this? I will make sure to tell somebody if I map it out over the phone or on my computer or whatever the case may be. This is, this price may change when I show up, because you can't tell hills that well in a photo from a satellite. You can't tell how tall the grass is right now. Chad will be the first person to tell you he did a corner lot. I'm glad Chad joined in. Chad did a corner lot, quoted it on Google, and showed up, and it was an absolute nightmare. Absolute nightmare. He was there all afternoon doing this property. All afternoon.
I did get burned on Google Earth one time. All I did was a top view, and the yard was pretty small. This was in the very beginning, so I did drive quite a ways to go get this property. And I looked it up on Google Earth, and the yard was super small. But when I got there,
come talk about it, Chad.
Let me get this about right. The banks were like this. The banks were super, super steep. Like I would have been afraid to drive a mower down it. So I had to weed eat the entire yard. I drove all that way. I'm not going to drive all the way back home.
Yeah, but if I do it off of Google, my quickest way is literally Zillow. Find the Zillow address, pull it up, because it'll tell you the square footage on Zillow.
Is that right?
The lot. Yeah, it'll tell you the lot size of any property you pull up on it. So yeah, like type in any address and then scroll to the bottom. It'll tell you the lot size of, the property. So you don't even have to measure it out, really. You can just look at the photos on Zillow. It's easier for me personally to do it that way than it is to go to satellite, be looking at a top view, map it out.
Jeez Louise. Let's talk about home prices for 30 seconds.
Okay, home prices. Home prices. They have skyrocketed, is what it is.
My house is up to $304,000.
If you are not raising your prices this year, something is wrong.
My house ain't even worth half that.
You have to raise your prices to stick with the market.
0.3 acres. Do you go off the total lot acreage?
Yes.
Okay. That's interesting. Thanks for giving me that information.
You didn't know that?
No.
Oh, I'll Zillow something before I'll go to Google Earth and map it out. Like, it's just so much easier. You've got all the photos usually there to look at the property from the ground. Plus, you've got it tells you the lot size. So there's no need to map it out.
The market today. Good grief.
Blake, thanks for coming in, man. Thanks for spitting some knowledge.
Have a great day, Blake.
Is it good to put your prices on your website? most say not to. I think it's good to keep tire kickers from calling. Me personally, I do not have anything on my website that says anything about pricing. If somebody calls me and asks me, I will tell them my starting price on whatever the case may be. I will tell them my price per yard on mulch, installed, delivered, everything. But that is the beginning price. So, it could go up once I see your property. You have to inform these clients, this is what I start out at. If they're looking for the $30 guy, well, your $40 price may be too expensive, which depends on, once again, what kind of quality of clients are you trying to get? Are you out there? Are you just trying to get started and you're doing anything and everything? Or are you actually, have you been in business for a minute, couple years? You said, you know what? I'm done with all this biweekly stuff. This is what I did. I said, I'm done with it. I'm done with the biweekly. It became more of a headache than it was worth. I started dropping them, dropped every one of them pretty much. Revamped my company. I not only revamped it once, I revamped it twice in 2 years, back-to-back years, because I didn't like where it was going. I didn't like what my company had become, because that's not how I started my company to be. So,
yeah, as far as putting my prices on the website, I don't I don't really want to do that, just because some people will get afraid of that. And once they get afraid of it, this is just my thinking off the top of my head. Once they get afraid of it, they're going to move on to the next person and completely forget about you.
Here's my thing is, I can sell myself over the phone. If you're looking at something and I have no way to communicate with you and don't even know you're there, it's harder for me to make that sale.
That's an in-person. If it's on the phone, they're just going to say, okay, I'll call you back, or I won't.
Well, right. But you've got a better chance of making that sale over the phone or in person than you do just somebody going to your website and looking at it.
Well, now you're talking about a website.
Okay, let's say they go to Google Business or your website, whichever one you want to use, Facebook page. If you've got your money on your Google Business of what you start at, you're not even getting the chance to talk to these clients if that's all they're going off of. I would much rather keep the dollar amount off of that and have them call me to get an estimate or a price, because I feel I've got a better chance of making that sale, whether it's over the phone or me coming to your house or whatever, than I do not even knowing you're looking at my page. If
But
that makes sense.
when they call for estimates, as long as you got your price structure confidently in place, it's easy to say, I start out at 40. You keep adding all these extra things on there. They're $5 a piece.
KC 191 says sales start when the phone rings. That's a true statement. I mean, I feel like you can always make a sale better. I'm more inclined to make a sale talking to somebody than I am, somebody just looking at a page and me not even having a clue they're there or having an opportunity to speak with them. Says, never put your prices out there. Get them to call and then make the sale. Yeah, see, I agree with that. Totally agree with that.
So what if they don't like your price? What if you think you're too high for that property? How you
Then that's probably not a client that I would want anyway, because that's probably a red flag. If the price is too high, then they're not looking for quality. They're just looking for lawn mowed.
But they are in your price range. They just don't know it.
What do you mean? Like they called you or they didn't even call
you? Yeah, I'm calling you. Hey,
Okay.
Danny, how much to do my yard? $45. All right. The phone conversation's over. They're going to hang up.
But I always tell them more than that. Like that, I'm not just saying, oh, it starts at $40. I go into it starts at $40, but here's what we do. You're selling yourself. I'm not just going to tell somebody a price and go, Oh, because they don't know if I'm going to do, if I don't explain to them or try to explain to them what I do different, they think I'm just some Joe Schmo. They don't know what I do different from the $25 guy. Does that make sense? Like
Sure.
if me and you are advertising, hey, we cut lawns, but you're advertising you cut lawns for $25 and I'm advertising I cut lawns for $40, that's all they know. They don't know any different of quality between us. They just know they want their yard cut.
So you're going to go on a sales pitch before they hang up?
Yeah. I'm always going to tell them the price, but I'm also going to include what all is included in that price. We're going to mow, we're going to trim, we're going to edge your property, and we're going to blow off all your hard surfaces before we're done. Let them know what they're getting for that, not just a mowing.
See, that's well, I'm glad you said that, because that's something I wouldn't have talked about. That's just common sense for me that's something that I would we're going to look at the ceiling for a while till the sun goes away. Or can I pull a Danny?
You might. Nope. Oh yeah, put some tape on it. There you go. You got this.
Like,
I got touch pins. What's up, Scotty? Always sell yourself. Good morning, Franco. I figure they'll toss the door hanger, but maybe hang on to the pin, maybe a refrigerator magnet. I got some magnets. Perfect. Look at that.
deal with it. Deal with it.
Hair flying, everything. All right, we got Chad here. Chad's going to tell us about an experience he had off of Google Satellite, Google Earth. Chad bid a property one time. I will never forget this, and I'll never forget the pictures he sent as well, talking about it.
Oh yeah, there was definitely one that I should have, showed up, in person and done that, where I just did it,
Well, tell us the story, Chad.
Well, lady called me wanting a quote for a house, and I looked it up on Google Earth, and it wasn't updated on Google Earth as it was in person, since the house was so new. And since I wanted to, make sure I did a quality job, it kept. Hold on a second here, my cam keeps coming off. Showed up and had looked at the property, and it was just a total nightmare. I mean, it took me 2.5 hours, like you said, and I didn't want to, feel comfortable, telling them it was going to be more money than what it was after I got into it.
It was a crazy hill on the back side of the house.
Yeah,
ended up being a sidewalk that was overgrown,
and I had to spend like
didn't
an
look
hour.
like it on Google Earth. It didn't look overgrown at all, but yeah, he got there. It was a total disaster.
Yeah,
I probably
took
$45 is what you quoted that property, I think.
Yeah, that was in my earlier stages of doing my business, and so I've kind of, everyone has to learn from their mistakes, and that's what I surely did on that one. Where now I just do kind of like how you said. Like I said, my range starts at this, or my minimum starts with this to show up like 45. And then I show up, tell them like I'll show up and I'll give you more actual detailed bid of what it's going to be after I'm able to look at like the property. If they've got pets, there's always an upcharge for that, because I don't want to cross contaminate yards and stuff. If the edges are all way overgrown, if they want that all cut off and then hauled off, because that property, I remember I took out 2 or 3 bags, and then bags, once you get them full of dirt and grass, they weigh 50, 60 pounds. I mean, they're not light at all.
Probably more than that.
And so, yeah, I learned a lot for that one. And like I said, the crazy hill, and that's when I had the Ferris 48-inch. And so on steep hills, it doesn't hold very well as my Toro grandstand does now. But that was one of the ones I've learned quite a bit around.
Yeah, Zillow's huge for me. I'd much rather go to Zillow or One of those places, realtor.com or something, if Zillow
Yeah.
don't have it, and
Yeah,
try
'cause they're-
to see, the pictures of what's going on.
Yeah, because they're a lot more accurate because them pictures are just taken, right then and there.
Right.
But I agree with like some of your early, statements, like what Blake said, to try to, pre-screen customers, ask them, what their budget is. Is it a corner lot? Does it have a fence? What are they looking for? Because if it's like a 30-minute drive, I want to try to pre-screen some. So I'm just going to go out. If it's someone's wanting like just tire kicking, I don't want to spend 30-minute driving out somewhere where they're just looking for the lowest price.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not taking on biweekly clients, well, one of the main questions is how often are you looking for service?
Yeah, and that's one thing.
Because if they say biweekly, well, you just saved yourself a trip and time, because time's money.
Yeah, exactly.
If you can save that time from having to drive somewhere to waste your time or somebody else's, I'd much rather try to screen as much as I can over the phone.
Yeah,
try to get any red flags that are there, and move on from here.
Yeah, definitely. Like I don't do bi-weeklies at all no more. It's all weekly or nothing. And I always tell them too, like in the summertime, when the grass doesn't grow, I'm not going to come by and just, drop the deck down and just make lines. If it don't need mowed, I'll skip it, and they won't get no charge. So that seems like that's a lot of their worries. It's like, I don't want to get charged.
You're just going to show up and do something and charge them for it.
Yeah. So I tell, customers, I'm like, if it doesn't need mowed, then I don't, I'm not going to mow it. I'm not going to charge you, then I'll skip it. But it's up to my discretion to skip it, not for you to call me, be like, hey, skip it this week. I'm like, no.
Well, let's talk about this because I'm curious of now this came into a whole nother conversation. People, and I hear this all the time. So I'm curious of everybody else's opinion on it. People pay for internet without using it all the time for the whole month. They pay for, cable TV. They pay for satellite, whatever the case may be, and don't use it half the time. Yeah. Why should our industry be any different? Why should we have to skip a week? Why not say, hey, this is, we're going to bill you for 32 weeks. This is what it's going to be, regardless of whether we do it or not. Like, how do you feel about that?
Oh, I feel the same way you do. I think they just get into like the mindset of like, hey, I have to have my internet. I have to have like, my cell phone service, or I have to have this, And so I think they get into the mindset of like mowing is more of like, well, I don't need to have it. But I'm like, well, then, if you don't need to have it, then, take your happy butt out there with your push mower, and then mow it every 2 weeks. But
like there's some properties I totally agree do not need it.
Yeah, and that's when we're like
every week.
And I'll dictate that myself. I don't let the customer dictate, my business. Right.
Yeah, because if you show up in 2 weeks after saying they don't need it, well, that's on you. If they do it, then they get, upset because, oh, well, now the price went up because it needed it last week and you didn't think it did.
Exactly.
Now it's 7 inches tall.
Exactly. And so.
Now, I do have a bi-weekly person, my first one, and my last one ever. She suckered me into the bi-weekly on the first place. She called me out, said, how much do my property? I gave her a price. And then, the next week when I showed up, she's like, oh, well, I was looking for bi-weekly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I could have dropped her right away. And but I didn't. It's my first year. Live and learn.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did. And see, with the bi-weekly, that's where it can bite you in the butt too, because like you can skip it. We might get a whole bunch of rain. You're gonna go back out there. It's gonna grow maybe like 2 to 3 inches, and now you're gonna be like wanting, you want to look nice. So now you're gonna double cut it, and you're charging the same price for bi-weekly.
Right. It's your first year in business. You're trying to grow. You're trying to get them good reviews.
Yeah.
And so you feel if you don't make this bi-weekly look good, well,
you're not going to grow your business.
To go all out on you.
So
And that's
then
hot.
she
I
calls
was
me up
too.
she calls me up a couple weeks later and asks if I'm coming out this week. And I said, well, of course I am, but I get there and it's all overgrown and it requires a 3-cut.
Oh, really? And then
And
you're doing it for X amount.
I'm sitting outside, and before I even start, I texted her and waited for her to respond. She never responded that day. So I had to come out the next, but I'm like, I'm gonna have to add $15 on top of this, which it should have been more.
Yeah, because you figure if that was
She's like, well, what's the deal with the price increase? And I'm like, you skipped a
oh,
week, and now I can mow it one time, and I'll
Yeah.
keep the price.
and leave it where leave it look like the way it looks. I think I remember you telling me about this.
Yeah, you've actually mowed that property with me. I told you that.
Is that the woman that was talking about the other guy just quit showing up?
It's one of them that, yeah.
Is it that corner lot house? With
Yeah,
that
well, I
real,
told you to mow the front yard twice because she likes stripes.
yeah, because it's
If
real well
somebody
on the
tells you
left
over
hand
the
side.
phone, well, what happened to your last lawn care guy? And they're like, oh, well, he just quit showing up. That's probably a red flag.
Well,
Yeah.
it's funny because I was able to track her Venmo account.
Yeah, and she wasn't paying you too. I remember that now. You had to chase down that
yeah,
money.
yeah. Didn't you talk to the last guy that was doing it or something?
Yeah, so I went through her Venmo account because some people leave their stuff on public, and I went back and found so and so lawn care, and I called him up, and silent your phone, and so I called so and so lawn care up and said, hey, listen, I'm dealing with a miss whatever, and he said, oh yeah, she is a pain in the butt. Never paid on time. Always complained about everything. Like, copy that. She done.
Yeah, there's a list of questions you can ask to screen and figure out whether or not this client is going to be possibly even right for you to begin with. I will tell you, my first 2 years, me and Randy was talking about this earlier because we got on the subject on the last episode of this of talking about what was that episode about? I don't forget. Oh, so you want to start a business?
Yeah, yes,
and somebody mentioned, well, you ain't going to make much your first year in business anyway. And so, me and Randy were talking earlier, and I was like, I went back on my taxes, and I said, here's what I made my first 2 years in business. Here's what I told him all my past years, and it's way more than what you think.
Yeah.
But for somebody to say, well, you ain't going to make much your first year, how much are you willing to put into it is the question of what you're going to make your first year. Because I'm going to tell you, I did anything, everything, one-time cuts, bi-weekly cuts, monthly cuts, trim this little tree branch off at the bottom, whatever, anything and everything I could do, I was doing.
Well,
oh, can you take care of this little bit while you're here? Oh, sure, yeah, let me take care of that for you. Just add 10 extra bucks for this hour job, whatever.
Dan can attest to my first year of mowing. You helped me on a lot of them like overgrown cleanouts for Dollar General, and I made pretty good money doing them overgrowths. Like for that, I was telling Randy, like when I had you come up and help me do that Lowe's and what it paid, and he was like, "Are you kidding me? They're paying you this for that." And so, like my
we
first
were up
year,
there for. I think we were only up there. It was you. There was 4 of us, right?
Yeah,
4
of us. You, me, your helper, and then my 2 neighbors. And we was there for 3 hours.
We were there for less than 2 hours.
Yeah, and it was $3,500. And then when I come down and did them Dollar Generals down by you come up and helped me. I mean, yeah, it was well overgrown, but they was paying $1,000 just to go in there and just knock it all down.
I was overworking.
Yeah.
Like anything and everything. Like, I mean, you're so scared your first year or 2 years of failure that you are willing to do anything and everything to make sure you don't fail. And honestly, knowing if I knew then what I know now,
Mm-hmm.
I would have structured my business the way I have it structured now and
Right.
not worried about any of that. Like I would, because there's so much out there that you don't have to do them jobs
Yeah,
unless
exactly.
you absolutely want to.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, the knickknacks on top of your original job, that's something that I've had a lot of people ask me to do this and that on top of what I already did, but none of that has ever been free.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, you had to
Yeah, see,
charge
I would do, oh, well,
for
can you
that.
take care? And I'm like, oh, well, that's going to take just a couple minutes. Yeah, let me go trim that real quick. And instead of charging for it, and then my business set the tone of, hey, I got the perfect lawn care guy. He'll do this little extra stuff here and there every week. And, I mean, and then I became that guy. And that was the guy I didn't want to
Don't
be.
want to be.
And that's
Yeah.
why my pay, my gross income from 2017 to 2018, woof, completely dropped because I dropped a lot of stuff then. Then in 2019, I dropped 30 something properties and quit driving the drive I was driving to do the properties, gave them to a buddy so he could take them over. And my income dropped that year, but it was more than it was the year before. So I restructured my business twice, both in 2018 and 2019. And did it kill me in revenue? Well, yeah, but at the same time, I
Your
structured my
expenses.
business to what I wanted it to be, not what somebody else wanted me to be.
But then you saved on your expenses and stuff like that too. Then didn't you?
Right. Yeah. I
Your
wasn't
overhead.
traveling all over the place. I wasn't doing stuff for free. I mean, it was
All your overhead. A lot of
Yeah.
times that's worth more than some revenue. You being happy, because I'm sure like when you're doing this stuff for free, in your back of your head you get that mindset. You're just miserable. You're like, I can't believe I'm doing this stuff for free when I should be charging for it. And then you're not happy, and you just don't enjoy doing what you're doing anymore.
Yeah. Well, see, I had the residential mower, and once again, the I could do the job. It just was, what job are you wanting? And the last episode we did, we were talking about the new equipment. Always investing in your business because of that image that clients have when you show up. My first property was a $400,000 house on the golf course. My very first property ever. Never would have thought it a day in my life. But let me tell you something. They were only looking for their lawn mowed. They didn't care, even though I cared about the quality. That's what I wanted my structure to be around.
Yeah.
It always looked great before I left. But I feel by me getting that,
property,
commercial grade mower, that
give you a better
my business grow more.
Well, the title of this is marketing your lawn care business.
I know we got off track a little bit.
Yeah. So marketing, like I said with Randy too, is like, and what you guys were talking about earlier, like I did a lot of paid marketing through Facebook, and it seemed to help out, quite a bit. And then I posted like a lot of the swaps, but whenever I was doing paid ads and then boosting ads, me and Randy both can attest, we picked up a lot of leaf cleanups, this past year just because of that.
Yeah, there was a guy marketing in my area for leaf cleanups, and that's what I was wanting to do towards the fall season.
Yeah.
Before all the rain started coming in, dealing with dry leaves. It's just it's easy work. It's quick work.
Yeah.
We talked about Facebook. We talked about Google My Business. We talked about websites. We've talked about the big truck driving by my house. What else we've talked about? Let's talk about marketing. So this guy says, in my opinion, it's worth the extra time and effort to target the high-end neighborhoods your first 2 years in business. So let's talk about mailers.
Oh, DMMs.
Yeah.
Direct, marketing mailers. Yeah, I've looked into that too. Because I always get them a lot of times in the mail, I'm sure, as well as everyone else does. And I haven't done enough research on that to see, you know, what your, you know, return of investment is on that. Because usually you gotta pay for, you know, you gotta get a hold of like, you know, Postmania or somewhere like that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, let's say you spend $1,000 on 5,000 cards.
Yeah.
Um,
And that's
then you've
what,
got to mail them out. So you're in it
so,
1,400 maybe.
yeah, because then you go to the post office and you're like, you want
Yeah,
to say
you
like,
put them
hey,
in
I want,
zones.
yeah, you
Or
want this
well,
zone for this, you know, resident or for this subdivision, and you want to market this whole, you know, subdivision here. And so I, I see there's some return on investment, but I think it'd be better, you know, more people were apt to like when they're looking for lawn care, they just go to Google, like Google, show me lawn care near me. Versus,
yeah.
I think when they get direct marketing mailers, a lot of times people consider that junk mail. You know,
I know I don't even look at it personally. I just usually throw it away
yeah,
unless it's in an envelope.
I don't know if I was muted on that, but I get those postcards in the mail. When I start sorting mail, it's an envelope. Postcards are trash.
yeah.
It's an envelope. Postcards are trash. Don't even.
Look at them,
I might
and that's
glance at them. I mean, if
yeah,
it's something I'm interested in, like the T-Mobile internet that I recently
yeah,
got, you know, I was going through separating like he was talking about, and it was like, oh, hang on, let's check this out real quick. So,
yeah,
I mean, but it was something that interested me, you
yeah.
know.
It's
So, I
got to
mean,
be
if it
something.
interests the client, I'm sure they would, you know, be more obliged to call or more obliged to call.
Yeah, look more
But I
at
don't
it.
know how well return on investment. I'm not sure. I've heard some people say 5%. I've heard some people say, you know, 10%.
I
Just
think
If you send
Google.
out 1,000, you might get 10.
just for
Yeah,
lawn care, though,
yeah,
I'm
not
not.
enough.
I'm not going to agree with anybody that mailers are a way to go.
No, I think if he was doing like hardscape and like big high revenue jobs,
Yeah,
yeah, then them would probably be better return on investment
Yeah,
versus
word of
lawn
mouth is
care.
huge. Word of mouth is probably the best you'll ever get. I mean, just
Yeah,
hey, I got a guy. You know, I mean, I've had people that I've seen comment on Facebook before, you know, wanting lawn care, and somebody that I mow for comments my name, and they know each other in some shape or form, you know. And I ended up getting the job because even though they listed 20 other people on there, because so and so knew me and they were connected, well, I ended up getting it.
yeah,
and something on social marketing that I did this year. There was another guy that posted before I did. I was considering doing Facebook ads. Uh, One guy was posting about leaf cleanups, and I called him up a week into his ad, and I said, "Hey, I'm so and so with so and so. I mow lawns. Not looking to step on your feet, but how was your return on investment on your Facebook ads?" And he said it was a nuts. So, right there, I put $150 on Facebook ads
yeah, just like me.
and ran that for one whole week. And when you run Facebook ads, if you haven't done it before, it gives you a circle,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mhm.
You can pick the age range and everything you're trying
Yeah,
to
you can.
focus
Yeah,
on.
you.
start out on your house. And I wouldn't recommend going too far out, but well, I don't know. Leaf cleanups are such a big profit. I opened my circle up to 20 miles, I believe. But yeah, I'll run somewhere for $300 to $500 for a couple hours worth of work.
Yeah,
So Facebook ads did a lot for me. That $150 turned over an unbelievable amount of money for the
Relaxing
little.
Vibe says he took part in mailers when working for a larger company. It might land nice jobs, but requires a large lump sum up front to start, which it does. You have to have that money. And just starting out, that may not be, I mean, literally just starting out, the biggest things I would do is if I was to do it all over again, it would be the swap and shop groups on Facebook. I would get yard signs to put in existing customers' lawns.
Have
yeah,
you have
Install
yard
them.
signs though? Do you use your yard signs?
I do. I use them and I try to switch them around different properties to where they're, not all in the same. So I'll do like Raymore area for 2 or 3 weeks. Then I'll pull them out and I'll switch them to like Harrisonville area or Peculiar area, and I'll rotate them to where they're not in their lawn all the time. But every 2 months or so, I'll keep them there for a week or two, pull them out, switch them around. I did that last year, and I got some calls off of the yard signs. And for the price I paid for them, well, I mean, you get one client, you just made your money back on your yard signs, because I paid, I think it was around $180. It might have been $160 for 15, 18 by 24s, and they're double sided, and that was with stakes, and that was with the high end stakes, not the cheap stakes. I got 5 that I just flip flop around from different properties, move around, and like I said, you gain one client for the year, and you made your money back off of all of them. So,
well, what I'm looking to do this year is I'm going to wrap my enclosed trailer, because I always heard people saying, that's a good marketing strategy, is wrapping your enclosed trailer.
Great. I'm old school, so Sunday morning flyers in the correct location get you in, then word of mouth spreads you out with the rest. What else you got, Randy?
The yard signs. I kind of got off put on yard signs the last couple of years, even before I was in lawn care. The first lawn signs that you see out during the season, there's no name. It just says, and it's on the corner of just about every corner. Lawn care.
It just says lawn care.
Services start at $25. How are you going to compete with that with a yard sign?
No, because a lot of people's all about money. They're going to call that person to try to get them to come in, and then get them on the phone, and either A, they're going to do it for 25, or upsell them. Like, exactly. B is, that's just
that's an easy way to. I've heard of people market low, get the calls, and charge them, the normal price.
Yeah.
And but it gets more phone calls rolling in per se by having that lower price, even though you're going to charge them more.
Yeah. But yeah, like I was mentioning earlier, like I looked about getting my enclosed trailer wrapped and see what kind of, I've heard from other YouTubers and everything. They said, that's a rolling marketing billboard the whole time you're driving around.
See, I've tried I've tried the magnets on the side of the truck, and I did that for 2 years. I never got a call off of, period. Never got one call off of, it wasn't a wrap or anything, but I personally never got a call off of having a magnet on my vehicle.
You ever thought about putting one of them big, billboards like on the back of your trailer ramp door?
Yeah, but I couldn't find a company to do it.
I'll have to get in contact with it's in Liberty. It's who's going to do my trailer wrap. Give you their contact information, because
I would like to do one on the back of the gate.
Yeah.
And I talked to some companies down here about it a couple years ago, and their big thing was, they wasn't sure if it was going to hold up or how to mount it or anything else, so it was like, whatever.
Because see, I look at the things for like the magnets. If it's not real big, because when people are driving by, if they can't see that number, very clearly, because if it's not that big, then you're just missing out. But if you put something like on the back of your trailer ramp, or on the side of your enclosed trailer where it's a lot more bigger, where they can see it, I think you might get more calls.
Right.
Marketing. One way of marketing is joining people's chat, like Alex Schmidt with Parachute Designs. You guys haven't
look at there.
If you guys haven't tried Parachute, it's an awesome product. It's quick, adjustable, easy installation, and I love mine. The only thing that I don't love about mine is that motor, not the motor, but the arm, that actually opens and closes your door. Sticks out just a tad too far, and I've found that I've hit a fence a couple too many times with mine. But other than that, guys, Parachute Designs is a great product if you haven't tried it.
And what's that discount code you got, Randy?
I know you're trying to get there.
Lanier 10. I don't know who's. I don't even know if I used a discount when I did that.
I think you did. You were supposed to anyway. You lied to me if you didn't.
If I was talking to you, it's probably you.
I do not get a kickback on that. I use it personally, and he sent me a new motor out. I've had no issues with the new motor he sent out a couple years ago. And,
It was you. It was you.
And I tell you what, yeah, you know, I believe in the product, and to me, it's not all about the money. So if somebody else can save that extra money and I don't get a kickback at all, that's totally fine with me.
Do you have to drill into the deck to install that?
On the Skag V-Ride 2 on a 52-inch deck, I did have to drill into my deck, which is no big deal.
Right.
I did not.
Really? Oh, I thought you had to on the Toro.
Nope.
Okay.
I may be lying to you. Let me go check. I'm pretty sure I didn't drill into my deck. Let me find the flashlight here. Let's see. Let's just see. I had to drill, not actually
Through
into the deck part, but the thick metal that sticks up above the discharge.
Yeah.
That I had to drill straight through, but not the actual deck too, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, but other than that, it's a great product. I like it over all of the other options, just because there's
The
one
handle, the
there's
ones
one
that are
out
like
there
the grass flap, where the handle sticks way up in the air.
Yeah.
And then that gets hung up on, you know, if you're going around low hanging trees and that handle gets hung up and, you know,
Right.
want to rip it off and stuff like that.
It's easier to flip a switch or hit a pedal than it is to reach up on a stander and do anything. So Tammy on TikTok, I'll call it TikTok says, my problem is doing estimates. Always some guy who don't even need work done having me come out just to have a combo. Very frustrating. I have even requested photos before going to the property, but it's never current photos. And
right.
You know, once again, is the biggest thing is just I always tell the client over the phone what's your address? Zillow the address. Usually it's going to come up with decent recent photos, but you can always look at something pretty much and give an estimate and go, okay, well, this is, you know, estimation without looking at it. This is what it's going to be. I can set you up for, you know, an appointment. And I honestly have thought about making quotes, you know, charging for them. And if they accept the job, then that comes off of their first, you know, first mow price or whatever the case may be. That way I'm not wasting time running around giving estimates for no reason.
Yeah,
I mean, everybody else, if I call a plumber, well, to even come look at something, they want to charge $100.
Yeah,
before they even come out. So I mean, why shouldn't we charge, you know, $5 or $10 to take our time?
Settle down,
you know,
Josh.
I mean, personally, I'm honestly thinking about implementing that this year because I don't see the need in it. You know, like, hey, if you're willing to pay me to come out, then we could possibly, do it.
I got a question, Danny. You've been in business longer than any of us. Have you ever looked into like hiring like a marketing company to handle all your marketing stuff?
I have.
I mean, I know it's an investment.
It is a hell of an investment, pardon my French. It's $400+ a month.
Yeah, if not, yeah.
And they only do like
And that's
2
just
or
for
3,
them. And that's just for
right.
them to
And
manage it. Then you got to
that's
pay.
just for Facebook too.
Yeah, and that's for them just to manage it. Then you got to pay the actual money to like Google for the ad to run too. From what
Right.
I've
Yeah.
seen.
Now, just for like, let's say I just wanted to do Facebook around here, I got pricing to where they make a post 2 to 3 times a week, you know, and then it's broadcasted out. That money is included in that, but it's
Okay.
$300 to $400 for a month. And
I've
that's
seen
guaranteed. You know, their marketing is doing it. They're actually sending it out there for you, other people to see, things of that.
They know all the algorithms and when to post, all the funnels and stuff like that. And so I didn't know if you've ever really, decided if you was going to do something like that since you've been in business a lot longer than
No.
us.
I've thought about it, but I feel
You're
that
doing
if I
fine.
really wanted to grow, I could without having to do
Right.
that. Making quotes over photos is difficult. Well, that's why you got to let people know, you know, at least a upfront price, and that way if it's I mean, I can look at past photos and go, well, you know, according to the photos I'm looking at, you know, depending on when I get there, this price may change, but you'd be looking at $45 from what I see here. Once I get there, if there's a fence or if it's overgrown or whatever the case may be, then the price may go up. I mean, you got to learn to talk with them clients and let them know, you know, hey, and that way, if you were going to be at $45, let's say, fall cleanups, yeah, you can't. Yeah, there's no way. When you start talking fall cleanups, there is no way you will ever bid a fall cleanup over an image online. There's no way.
There is one
even having pictures sent to my phone, there's no way I would ever recommend bidding a fall cleanup without looking at it.
There was a leaf cleanup I did this year over photos.
Yeah.
And just from what she sent me, I said, you're going to be at my minimum. But the price may change when I get there, depending on if your pictures are accurate or not.
That was one in Kearney.
No, this was a different one that I think I sent you a picture of the final product only, but I wound up adding $100. I think it might've been a little bit more, but I wound up adding like $100 to her bid because she didn't show me pictures of her big back deck. She didn't show me pictures of her bushes that are surrounding her entire house.
Oh.
And so she was like, I just got leaves around the fence line. And I'm like, well, you got a couple around the fence line, but you have everything on your porch and in your bushes. So
yeah, I would never, ever recommend. And then even when you get there, it's hard to give a set price because there's always more than what you think there is.
One thing that I did learn about that this year, leaf cleanups. This is my first year ever doing leaf cleanups. So the first 5 I completely lost money on. And then I realized, okay, I probably need to add 2 hours to my job. And then add $100 to your job. and you come out pretty close. I was anyway. Danny, you're muted, bud. Oh, he's talking on the Tic Tac.
I'm talking to the TikTok people.
Relaxing vibes. Leaf cleanup over the phone is based on crew hourly rate needed.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very hard. I learned the hard way, even looking at a property and going, oh, this ain't that much. And then showing up, it was always 3 times more than what I expected it to be. Always.
Yeah. So that's where I come into, whatever my bid is, I automatically add $100 because I know I'm not on it. And I'm still pretty close.
Yeah, I know you've called bid and mulch before.
Yeah. Mulch is a tough one for me, and I imagine you'll get more phone calls this year too.
Yeah, well, the thing about mulch is once you did it for so long, you can look at something and go, oh, this is, you can get the measurements pretty much in your head by looking at photos and or just looking at a property and kind of know what you're looking at to be able to give that price and without having I mean, a measuring wheel is great. I did a video about how to measure mulch beds, regardless of whether it's circle, square. I even take you into my mulch beds that are totally craziness and show you how to separate them to get accurate measurements, to where you'll know what you need. I know your guys' business advertising is much different than mine, but as a more nationwide product, by far the best advertising is still word of mouth. And the guys, if you're listening on the podcast, this is coming from Power Shoot Design, the owner, Alex Schmidt.
Alex, I would say, word of mouth, yes, is good. I really believe in YouTube reviews on product reviews as far as getting your product out there to more people so that they can visually see how the product works. I know you're biased to your own product, and I'm not knocking anything. I'm just thinking off the top of my head. When you market your own product, you market the best points of it. But if the product gets sent out to people, there's more real world scenarios where your product can be reviewed in. And I think it's a really good visualization of what your product can do. I haven't made any videos on lawn care this year, so I haven't been able to put your product out there. But definitely this year, your product will be advertised on my channel as a good product. The reasons why I believe it's the best one out there. But yeah, word of mouth is better for a smaller business over yours.
Yeah, word of mouth is still
Just
huge. And for a big company, another thing Alex has going for him is a lot of companies, all you have to do is YouTube. Literally, I mean, there's always somebody that's tried something. Me personally, when I'm looking at any product, regardless of what it is, the first thing I like doing is going to YouTube and seeing what people say about it. A, did they get it for free? I paid for mine, FYI. B, because I mean, let's be honest. If you use it and you see me using it every day on my equipment, well, you're more likely to buy that product than me saying, "Yep, it's good," and then changing to something different, or not seeing it all the time in my videos. Even in my small business, high-end properties, word of mouth is the most valuable. Most of these sales are accomplished. Chad got disconnected. He is back. One good way, in my opinion, to spread that is if you have to incentivize by almost a referral basis. Coming from an automotive background, this was a huge driver in local customers. All right. Any final words? So top three, what would be your top three, Randy?
Google Business, number one. Facebook, number two. Integrated Instagram is number three. Google Business is number one, though, for sure.
I'm going to say my top three, if I was to do it all over again, is A, word of mouth. B, Google Business. Always set up a Google Business. And number three would probably be my Facebook, swapping shops, posting in them. Chad, what do you got?
Top three. Think the same thing. I think, Google My Business, since it's free. That'd be my first one. The second one would probably be, word of mouth with, getting customers to leave you good reviews on Google. And then the third one would probably be, the Facebook and swap and shop ads and stuff like that, and kind of dabble into some of the paid ads. Because you can pick your budget. You can pick like a $50 budget and have it run for 2 days or a week, and set the range of how many you want, how far you want to reach. If you want to reach 500 people or 15,000 people.
I went through. I spent probably personally down here. I spent probably 300 to 350 in about 2 months. I never got anything off of.
Yeah, well, I think it's because your area where you're at. Because like up here, like
actual Facebook. Well, I made it to go into Belton Raymore area where a lot of clients.
Yeah,
are.
but you're competing with a lot more lawn care companies down there. Like where me and Randy live at up here.
If I post in the discussion part of a group, not that I'm selling something, but a discussion part, listing my services or whatever, then I had better luck with that than I ever did paying for something.
Yeah, and I can't, give a real solid answer on like the Facebook for like mowing. I just know that we started doing the paid ads for the leaf cleanups, and we got in late at the end of the season and spent like $400, and it paid for itself, 5 times over.
Relaxing Bob says flyers take time and effort, but cheap and extremely effective. Billy Goat says, does anyone take advantage of the fuel tax refund deduction for off-road equipment? I've seen ads on YouTube and such from time to time. And if you've got a CPA, they are automatically should be doing that for you. For fuel, I started using Casey's Rewards. Yeah, he got me stuck on that. And G4 says, check out G4 Outdoors on YouTube. And guys, that's going to do it for this hour and 11 minutes. Probably a little less than that on the podcast, but
good deal.
Thanks for watching. We will have, a couple more days. We'll probably have a new subject. If there's a subject you would like talked about, then, feel free to email me or comment down below on this video, and we will see what we can do. So thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, everybody. And everybody.